What's up, gamers and gearheads? Brittality here with another interview for the Road to Hypefestation Winter Brawl 9. And with us today, we have the kitty cats of the Gears of War community. We have VxC, and from VxC, we have Chubbz and Subzero with us. What is different with VxC this time compared to other tournaments?
At Summer Jam, it was me, Charlie, me, Chubbz, Void, and Caspers. And after the event, we ended up, that team fell apart pretty much because we thought the game was, everybody thought it was the last event. I mean, they made the announcement, so I ended up quitting the game.
Yeah. And
I didn't touch Gears for, what was it, Charlie, 3 or 4 months before I came back for this tournament. And it was just kind of everybody just had their own different opportunities. Like when I came back, Caspers was already on a team, and then me and Charlie just, we kind of teamed up with Gambler, and that's pretty much where we are today. And obviously we picked up PR, but
right. How have Scrims been going for you guys?
I mean, obviously with any new team at first, we've had our struggles. I think every team does, every new team, but the last night, I'd say you can kind of tell that we're starting to turn a corner. I mean, I've been preaching to the team. I think half of our problems is communication. So I feel like when we're playing our best, we can play with anybody. I mean, we've all proven ourselves at LAN. Yeah, I think if we're all on point at this event, I feel like we have a good shot at getting top 4.
Cool. So that was going to be my next question, where you guys expect to place. Who do you think is going to be in that top 4 with you?
SYN, NTR, Glory. Yeah, that'd probably be the other 3 teams that I would think would get top 4 beside this.
So what's one thing that you guys really are concentrating on with this tournament, that you're really focusing on and working on in Scrims right now?
Definitely has to be communication.
Yeah.
We lacked that a little bit at the last event. I mean, as Subzero said, we were lacking it as of recently with playing with Gambler and PR. Slowly but surely we got there. We're at a point now where things are a lot clearer. There's no, no problems when it comes to communication.
Which team do you guys think will be the biggest challenge for you guys, and are you doing anything to prepare for them?
It's hard to say. I mean, you can't really just prepare for one team. I mean, you have to be prepared because you honestly, you don't know who you're playing going into it. I mean, sometimes, if they release the bracket earlier, I don't know exactly how they're going to do the bracket. If they do it per seed, then obviously we would kind of know who we're playing, but you just have to be prepared to play anybody because you never know how the tournament's going to shake out either. You don't know if you get dropped down to losers who you're potentially going to get matched up with. You just have to be prepared to play anybody, and I think what we do a good job at is we like to play every team at least once, and we're going to try to do that again this event. And we really try to scout other teams so we have a general idea, okay, if we play this team, this is what we need to do to match up well against them if they run different stuff. Now, some teams literally just run pretty much basic strats, but other teams do get more creative, so you honestly have to game plan for them. But I'd say for the most part, you can't really just look at SYN and say, okay, we got to prepare for these guys to beat them, because NTR is just as formidable as SYN. And it's honestly in my opinion, it's a toss-up between those 2 teams as far as their prowess in this tournament.
So how do you guys usually feel before a competition? Are you nervous, excited, maybe drunk? I don't know.
I think I used to get nervous. Actually, I'd have to admit it. I used to be nervous before going into a tournament. Usually because every time I play with a pickup team, for the most part.
Yeah.
Just a couple people, right before an event. This time I know who I'm playing with. I know what they're capable of. So I'd have to say I'm more excited than anything because, I mean, for one, I've known Sub and Gambler since, Jesus Christ, I was turning 14. It's been over almost 7 years. Over 7 years, probably around there.
I'd say for me, if you go back to the MLG days, when there was more on the line, the pressure was more on, and just from my experience at these last 2 hypes, it's not really nerves for me. I mean, I probably felt more nervous, honestly, at Hype 3, because I felt like I had to do more for that event, not taken away from my teammates at all. I just felt like I had to do more for that team, whereas now, you know, Chubbz does the bulk of the slaying, so it's like there's not as much pressure, so it frees me up to not have as much pressure on me where I feel like I can play loose. Really, I try to get all the guys motivated. I mean, that's what I try to do at Summer Jam. I try to stay as positive as possible, and regardless of the outcome. I mean, at Summer Jam, there were a couple matches where it looked like we were going to win going away against a couple teams, and a couple teams came back on us and forced Map 5 on us, and we ended up taking, what was it, Charlie, 2 matches, 3-2 back-to-back, I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
Awesome. So, now Subzero, PR was kind of floating around. He had his own team at one time. Then he became a free agent. Why did you guys choose to pick him up?
Anytime you're building a team, now I know a lot of players probably will just, some players have this mentality, okay, we're going to pick the biggest name or just the best slayer that's available. When I build a team, and I even had this mentality back in MLG days, I feel like certain teams need certain personalities and certain roles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we needed a guy that could communicate well, which we were having, like we already discussed, we were having communication issues. PR is a very good communicator. He's very smart. And I don't want to label him as a Lancer player because PR is an exceptional player across the board. But he does Lancer a lot, which is something I feel like we needed. Because if you look at Chubbz, you know, Charlie's a slayer. Yes, he can Lancer, cross. Charlie can do it all, but Charlie is a super slayer. He is fantastic at slaying. I'm more of a jack of all trades, and Gambler is more or less a power weapon / slayer. So having PR with that support definitely benefited the team, whereas we had other options on the table, but we felt like as a team, for us to get where we want to be, that he was the best pickup for us at that time.
Cool. Now, Charlie, after the last event, you kind of seemed to drop off from the community from what I saw and not really participate in Gears so much. You've been gone, you know, from the scene for a bit. Why did you decide to come back and play in this tournament?
Well, to be honest, at first, I really wasn't going to play. I had a lot of, you know, personal problems going on that I had to deal with, and that's really why I had fallen off. Everyone knows Wingos, so yeah, he actually asked me to play, and I've known Jeremy actually almost about as long as I've known Sub, and I've never played with him before, like for a tournament, and he asked me to play, and we tried it, but it ended up, you know, we really couldn't find anything going for us when it came to, you know, matters of a fourth. So he decided that he's not going to play, and then Sub said, let's get the team back together. So I was like, you know what, that sounds like a great idea.
Let's get the band back together.
So, the one thing I will say too, I don't know if anybody who watches this interview knows, but we were actually teaming with Gambler before Summer Jam, but he ended up getting an internship with Motorola, so he dropped out, I think, 3 weeks before the event.
Yeah.
And we picked Casper's up late before Summer Jam, and whether people want to admit it or not, headed into Summer Jam, when we made that pickup with Casper's, people weren't expecting us to potentially be in a position to place top 4 at that event. We played Goon Squad. Every single map could have went either way, and we ended up playing Synergy. The King of the Hill was really close against them, and I think they 4-2, 4-1 us on the Xyz. The matches we lost at Summer Jam, we understand why we lost them. Like, we didn't walk away from that event thinking, okay, we lost to these teams, and we have no idea why we lost. We understand why we lost, and we plan on correcting it. Like, our mentality at this event is we want to crack into that top 4, and we want a shot at some of these top teams, because some of these top teams just, they feel like they're on their perch and that they can't be knocked down. And, we're coming for one of them. We want to get in the top 4 of this event.
So I've got a little game for you guys to play here. I'm sure you're familiar with the game F, Marry, Kill. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do a Gears of War version. I'm going to give you 3 names. You're going to choose whether you would just play Gears of War with them, if you would want to be best friends with them and you guys could play any game, you have a good time hanging out with each other, or if you would completely avoid them and appear offline as soon as you see their name pop up.
Oh boy, okay.
Oh
Okay,
my God.
so your 3 people are Demo, Prospect, and Yogurt.
Alright, I'd say play Gears of War. I'd probably go with Yogurt because I think he's such a talented player. I don't know him personally. And then I guess I would have to say Prospect because I've played against him on the circuit. And again, I don't really know Prospect on a personal level. I've met him a few times, but I know he's a chill guy. And he played sports, which I played sports as well. And it's appearing offline, I guess I'm going to have to go with Demo. And the only reason I know I'm going to probably catch heat for it, but like, I don't really get on Twitter to start beef, but I just see what he posts on Twitter. Like, I'm just going to leave it at that. Like, some of the stuff he posts on Twitter, you would think that he was some Gears 2 magician, and I just leave it at that.
Okay. How about you, Charlie?
Best friends with, I'd probably go with Yogurt because I've known him for a while, and we are good friends. Just play, I mean, probably have to go with Demo because I've played with him before. I would have put him in the best friends category because he did snake me.
Oh.
So, you know, sorry, Edwin Perez, but I guess I would appear offline for Prospect. I don't really know him.
Okay.
I mean, we've kind of been like, we said hi to each other before, but that's about it, so.
All right, guys. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. Do you guys have any shout-outs that you want to get out there?
Just shout out, to my teammates, and shout out to my girlfriend who supports me playing this game. So without her blessing, I wouldn't be playing. So
I guess shout out to the team. I guess shout out to all the other people that over the years have really been there for me. And I mean, if they watch this video, they know who they are. So honestly, I'd have to shout out my grandmother because throughout the years, she was one of the people that supported me playing. Like, helped me fly out to the events, all that stuff. So
awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time and for the interview, and I look forward to seeing you guys play at Winter Brawl.
All right, thanks, Britt.